What's going on, Fourth and Five? We're back another week with Matt Harris in the building. We appreciate having you here, Matt. Good to see you again. Haven't seen you in about a week. How you been doing, man?
Much love, man. Much love. Wish we had a better week, but here we are.
That's right. That's right. It's a tough week, you know. Ole Miss game this past weekend, as everybody knows, did not go the way that I had predicted when I put my money down at
Yeah.
Oaklawn. So uh, I'm a little bit shortchanged this week, but
Uh, you and a
gosh,
lot of hog fans.
yeah. What did you think about the game? I mean, honestly, what was your initial overview thoughts? Just the way that it all played out.
Man, honestly, that was a doomsday game. That's kind of the way I played in maybe one or two of those games. And when a team gets on you quick like that in the first quarter, in the first half of the first quarter, um, it's a long game. And I mean, that was a historically long game. I've never been a part of a 60-point game before, but offenses are really good these days, but they're not that good. Everything
Hmm.
was just one of those games, Josh, where everything was going Ole Miss's way. We'll get into it here in a little bit, but there's a play where quarterback actually made a wrong read. It should have been an interception, and it just set records versus, back and forth football like it should have been. We're better than what we played. Take heart, Razorback fans. This the SEC, it's tough. We're not going to go undefeated. We don't have Nick Saban. We don't have those players. But, you can go beat Rocky Top. We can beat good teams and be competitive, but we have to have really good play calls and execution to beat good teams. Ole Miss isn't as good as they played. We're not
Hmm.
as bad as we played, but it was just a combination of both, unfortunately.
Yeah, man. I was listening to Coach Pittman talk in the presser after the game. He praised Jackson Dart. He praised Jordan Watkins.
Yep.
254 yards, five TDs,
Yeah.
record-setting performance. I mean, I think he
Yeah.
broke the records like historically of what's
Yes.
been done
Yeah.
in our stadium on our home field.
Hmm.
Pittman said that he said he thought they were prepared. And I'm really talking about the defense when I'm saying this. I'm not sure. I think
Yeah.
he was
Sure.
holistically talking offense and defense. But,
Yeah.
since we're talking about defense today, he said,
Mhm.
hey, look, he thought they were prepared. They came out there and they clearly were not prepared.
Yeah.
Um, Arkansas offense, they gave up 8 sacks. Grant Cook's going to have a day this week.
Oh, man. I'm about to
That
say.
offensive line can't figure out, how to pick up a twist on the front line. So,
I mean, I texted him in the middle of it. I was like, is a Texas twist like, where the
right.
DN and the tackle just switch? Like, that's
Uh,
high school stuff, dude.
that's,
Like, Grant,
that's
what's
right.
going on here? Like,
They couldn't
yeah.
pick it up. They couldn't pick it up. Pass
Yeah.
interferences. I mean, I
Yeah.
honestly, I'm
That's
going to tell you
tough.
the truth. I was watching the game with my
That's tough.
fiance, and she said, "Hey, why are they doing that?" That's what she said. Hey, why are they doing that? Why do they keep doing that? And I said, well, babe, I said sometimes, in situations where you're going to get beat and
Yeah.
you see it happening, a
Yeah.
pass interference is a smart thing to do.
Yeah.
And then
You
there's
just
other
definitely.
times where I'm wondering the same thing, babe. Why are they doing that? So
Yeah.
I'm glad we got you here today. But Matt, I got a big announcement for you, man. We have a permanent sponsor for the show this week, or for the rest of the football season, and hopefully, I think they're going to be sticking around next season because we like to keep guys who stick around.
There you go.
And
Go.
let me go ahead and introduce them to you. They're Commercial Air out of Little Rock, Arkansas. Take a look at this. All right, folks, before we get into the heat of today's Getting Defensive segment with Matt Harris, here's a quick highlight from our sponsor, Commercial Air. Today's show is proudly sponsored by Commercial Air, a third-generation, family-owned business serving Arkansas since 1971. They specialize in industrial cooling systems, repair, maintenance, and even replacement. They ensure critical environments like data centers, and hospitals, and manufacturing plants stay operational with 24/7 service and a commitment to excellence. Commercial Air is a trusted partner for all of your HVAC needs. Now, Matt, I know things might get a little fiery as you break down those defensive plays, but lucky for us, Commercial Air is here to keep things cool. Literally, they've been the go-to for industrial cooling since 1971. Straight out of Little Rock. They also have a location up here in Springdale, so they're in Northwest Arkansas too. And you know what? After that last game against Ole Miss, I think we need to keep them on speed dial versus Texas because they might have to come in and cool down their offense for us. All right, Matt, let's turn down the thermostat and let's dive into that defensive segment.
And you're just one of a kind, Josh Throne. I love you, dude. I hope so too, though. I agree. We're going to need some help after this week.
We absolutely are. Absolutely are. So, man, let me recap this Ole Miss game for you before we dive in. Look,
Yeah.
They took over the game on offense almost from the first quarter on. They scored
Mm-hmm.
really easy. Again, Jordan Watkins, 254 yards, 5 TDs. Jackson Dart had an absolute day. I mean, I think at one point in time he was like 3 series, 3 passes, 3 touchdowns. He just walked on and off the field like it was nothing.
Yeah.
And everybody's out here going, wait, I thought Arkansas's defense was the shining point of this season, and then we come
Yeah.
out and do something like this.
Yeah.
What do you got for us this week?
Tough, man. Again, this is one of those doomsday games. That's kind of what I call it. I remember playing Ole Miss my senior year in Oxford, and they had a guy named Dexter McCluster, if you
Oh
remember
yeah.
him.
Oh,
He was
fast dude. Yeah.
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
He was a
Yeah.
nightmare. He was an
Yeah.
absolute nightmare. And not trying to take away from anything from, what's his name, number 11. We'll probably see him play on Sundays too. I mean, but that's what you get in the SEC. But they just had a special day.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, when you get beat deep early and often, Josh, we used to call it swagger jacking. When
Yeah.
you would go and take somebody's gangster from them, you could do whatever you wanted the rest of the game. You could talk bad
Right.
to them, you let them know about it. I mean, this was one of those games, and it was clear and evident that they were trying to expose us on the corners quick. And look, I think Arkansas's got guys that run 4-3. I think they got guys that put weight on the bar and they make it bend. They got strong, fast guys.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of execution, right? It's kind of like what we said in the beginning. It was a perfect day for Ole Miss, and it was a nightmare for Arkansas. We are a much better defense than this. I'm curious how we're going to respond versus Texas, because as we know, Texas is a good football team. But Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin, I mean, they're magical on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, he is one hell of a football coach, and there was a lot of play calls that you just got to tip your cap to Lane over there in Oxford. He knows what he's doing, but our defense does too. So I was really upset at the letdown, the execution part. There was a couple of plays in here we'll see that we should have had a couple turnovers. Our defensive line didn't get any push. I think we had 1 sack all game versus 8 or 9 versus Ole Miss. We
Mm-hmm.
didn't play complementary football, Josh. I was in a little group chat with some of our guys, and I was like, I tell you what, the first touchdown on the board was a safety in the end zone. I'll be talking bad to that offense. Like, hey,
Right.
man, this is a high-powered offense.
Right.
Don't you give them any more freaking points.
Right.
You know what I mean? We stopped him on 4th and 1 on the goal line and gave you the ball back.
Man,
It was
is that demoralizing for a defense?
absolutely,
Yeah. It's
absolutely.
got to be.
People can say whatever they want, but that's bullshit. It is. It is 100% because it is. It's such a team game. It's so beautiful. It is like a symphony. Everything has to be working together as one. Not just defensive line, linebackers, and defensive backs, but the
Mm-hmm.
offense has to bring their game. If
Right.
the offense is scoring tons of points and the defense is letting up tons of points, hey, at least it's even. You hate playing in those football games. That's Big 12 football. That's not what we're about. But when your defense is stopping them every single time and your offense is just flat, 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 it's only a matter of time before someone kicks a field goal and wins the game.
Mm-hmm.
So this was the polar opposite of both of them. Our offense couldn't do anything and our defense couldn't stop anybody. My dad, man, he used to say, even if you get 1 rep, you got to just make it count. Like the play's coming my way, you got to make the play. There was no playmakers on the field on the offensive side of the ball or the defensive side of the ball. We'll get into this here. We'll
Mm-hmm.
get into the film, but you'll see a couple of times here where we should have had turnovers. And I mean, even in the second quarter and we're getting blown out, go make a pick and score before halftime
Right.
versus missing the pick and letting them score before halftime. Man, football's a game of momentum. All sports are momentum based for the most part, but football, man, you can feel it. It's tangible. You're going in that locker room and you're looking at your teammates and you're like, man, we're gonna lose this game.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bad feeling to have. I guarantee you that halftime, they'll remember that for the rest of their life. In a not a good way,
Right.
obviously. So it was just a doomsday game for them. So fans, it's okay. We're probably not going to get 65 hung on us every week, but what we talk about today, believe me, these coaches are going to take that to the next level. They already have. They're getting reamed out all week this week. It's going to be a bad bye week for our Hogs. Okay, so first play, Josh, what we got? 1st and 10, 11 personnel, 1 back, 1 tight end. They did not go out of 11 personnel, I don't think, all game. It's a very common personnel, right? And if you're beating the brakes off of somebody in one personnel, why would you change it? So
Right.
it's 7-3. We're playing football, but it's clear and evident what they're trying to do here. So you'll see number 8 here, who is a straight running freak. He's a tight end. He's not a wide receiver. This guy weighs 260 pounds and he probably
Right.
runs a 4.4. He's the guy who haunts me and my neck hurts to this day. Because you'll see this play right here. He comes in motion, and Josh, you got the running back offset into the field. So you got 4 receivers to a side. So you got your 4 receiver rule here. Play side linebacker to the field here. I think that's oh no, Dix Jr. I'm sorry. This we're playing football. Put a bow on him. Shiver this dude. Don't just run right by him. You're leaving your safety out to dry.
Hmm.
Now, with that being said, it is his rule to let the first vertical go by. You're going to see the linebacker number 10 here, Sorry. He's going to do a late ad. He's in what I call as no man's land. If you're going to blitz, blitz. If
Blitz.
you're going to back up and sink
Hmm.
underneath that tight end. I don't know his responsibilities, right? I'll say this every time. I'm not in the film room. I wish I was. Y'all holler at your boy. Either he's supposed to be sinking underneath that tight end or he's supposed to be now to the quarterback and making that quarterback throw a bad throw. It's one or
Hmm.
the other. He got caught in the middle. I don't know which one it is, but here you go. Backside safety, your eyes should be on that tight end right now. Just like linebackers have rules, Josh, to 4 receiver sides, safeties have the rules. That's
Hmm.
his play to make. All he honestly should have picked the play. Dude, that is your play to make all that's da-na-na, da-na-na. Like you don't think your
Right.
boys are talking about that in the locker room all week, like, oh, I'm gonna get a play this week. That's your play. This is what I'm
Right.
talking about. It's 7-3 in the first quarter. I can see it. It's so obvious. You got to have good players that have good instincts. Are you 5 star? I don't care. Do you have good instincts? Do you know how to play football?
Now, Matt, are you cheating over? You see this? You're playing backside safety against trips like this when you send the running back the opposite direction. Are you just going to go ahead and start anticipating and coming over? What, I mean,
Anticipate. You don't need to, Josh. Look where he catches the ball. He catches the ball in the middle of the
Yeah,
field.
five
And number
yards from him, right?
Dude, and he's starting right outside the hash. I mean, he's not 5 yards away from him. Anticipation beats reaction every time, Josh.
Well, Matt, I put that in there because, like you just said, if it wasn't Watkins beating us over the top or their other receiver that
Yes.
I think had a nice little day beating us over the top, they were going to that tight end
All
receiver,
day.
that hybrid big 265-pound
He's
forward
giant.
that
He's
probably should
giant.
be playing basketball. And they
Yes.
beat us and they chipped their way up the field with
Yep.
him and they
Yep.
found him open across the middle time and time
Yep.
again. And
Yep.
then they just would sit back and just play Hail Mary, on us. So I
Yep.
wanted at least to get one of those in there so that you could
No,
break
I'm
that
glad you
down for
did.
everybody.
You're gonna
Yeah.
you're gonna get another one here too on the fourth play, and you wait. I was livid at this play. I was looking at the screen before it happened. And I was like, look where he is. He's a
Hmm.
tight end. But let's jump into play 2 here. This one's straight to it. There's nothing to this one. This is just deep thirds, man to man. Marquise Robinson, number 13 there, just gets flat out beat. And that's the beautiful thing about sports in a world like today, Josh. Um, there's no easy way to say, hey, man, that's on you.
Hmm.
And look at him. He's in great phase. He's got his eyes turned around at the ball. He's trying to track it, and he just misses it. So again, like I really credit a lot of my football ability to my football IQ and the guy that I was raised by, right? When you're raised by a Hall of Fame free safety, you pick up on some things. You have 3 rules in defense. You can pick the ball, you can knock it down, or you can make the tackle.
Hmm.
This is what you never want, ever. And a lot of guys, you see them swipe at the ball. The timing when you're running to swipe at the ball is very difficult. What you're supposed to be taught, I'm serious, I want to coach corners, maybe at a high school level, just so
Hmm.
I can have some fun. You're not supposed to swipe at the ball. Go try and pick it, because when you
Hmm.
try and pick it, guess where my hands are? They're going to be right in front of that guy's face. They're going to be right where the ball is. Even if I drop it, guess what that is? That's a PBU, baby. That's a pass
Right.
breakup. Don't swipe at the damn ball. Be an athlete. That's why you're on the edge in the SEC. But these guys are tremendous athletes. But they're not being coached what to do, or they're not executing on what they're being coached to do, Josh. And I would say, an easy play to make for a high level athlete, which he is clearly. That's why he's out there. But That's easy. Pick it, knock it down, make the damn tackle.
Matt, you see this a lot though. There's a lot of times where DBs are in position where they're running with
Mhm.
the receiver. I mean, they might as well be the receiver at this point because they're just running underneath the ball, and they don't go up and high point the ball. They it's like they think that's off limits to do, and I don't
Oh,
understand that mentality because there's so many times that I'm going, hey, plant that back foot, go up, get up in the air now, pivot your body and go get it. And like you said, the worst thing you do is you don't bring it down. Now, on this particular
yeah.
play, I watched a different angle of this earlier, Matt,
Yeah.
and right before
He pushed
Watkins
off.
is going to catch that, he pushes off. Yes,
Yeah.
he
All
pushes off.
day.
What do you do as a DB when you're running with a guy? How are you stopping the push off from happening? Okay, so you're hooking their arm?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
All day, baby.
But how are you
And
doing
you're
this without getting flagged? Because they're always flag friendly on the defense, right?
correct.
So
And
walk me through that.
I'm gonna talk to the official.
Hmm.
I'm not gonna get beat deep. My dad gave me a rule. It's either you or him, and it's damn sure not gonna be you.
Hmm.
Period. Period. Dude, it is. I don't even know if it's dog eat dog, Josh. It is higher than that at that level. It's either gonna be me or you. This on ESPN, this national TV.
Hmm.
y- if you're going to push off on me, and what I was taught at Cleveland too, this is kind of next level. It depends on how they're pushing you off. So you can, and you're not really holding on to their arm, but when you're running, you can lock arms with them, right? Incidental contact.
Hmm.
Go get your arm, your outside arm, 13, on his inside arm. And when you're looking up, you're hooking his arm with your arm, and then you go up to make the play one-handed, aka don't swipe at it.
Hmm.
Put your hand up to go ODB that thing or just knock it down.
Right. Right.
Period. Don't swipe at it. You're going to see
Right.
him swipe at it, and it drives me crazy when I see these guys put their head around. And let me tell you, it's hard.
Hmm.
I wish they'd do a sports science on a play like this. Lock that inside arm because they're gonna push off. They always do at the top of the route. They
Hmm.
always push off at the top of the route. And the way you can defend that is you can lock arms. So now my body, I don't need to look at you. I know you're running deep after we're running for 20 yards. So I'm locking. I'm tracking where the ball is. And as long as I've got my arm on you, Josh, I'm going to get the damn ball.
Hmm.
That's my ball as much as it is your ball. I remember when Gus Malzahn came into Donald W. after he left Auburn and he got his big start at Tulsa, and they
Hmm.
were ranked number one in the country offense and number one passing and number one all these stats
Hmm.
because they're not playing them boys.
To get the first down. Play fake. Johnson scrambling. Underhands it. Complete to Adams, and he runs it up to the 25. The ball is loose. Arkansas has it. Jerry Franklin picked it up.
I went off, and I'm usually not a soundbite guy. I usually
Right.
stay in my lane. I stay really focused, but
For territory. Now on 2nd and 15, Johnson again all day to throw, and he finds Shelley to throw, and he finds Shelley, but Shelley is leveled, and the ball falls out incomplete.
man, I just was getting interviewed all week about how good they were and how they were just going to air raid us. And I was like, you know what, guys? When that ball's in the air, it's as much ours as it is theirs. And I can't wait for it.
3rd down and 2. Whitmore again, tripped up in the backfield. Matt Harris took him down.
And we played our tails off, and they were like a top 15 team. They were a good team. They had a lot of talent, great coach, Malzahn, tip of the cap. But we beat the dog out of them. It was a dog fight, but we beat them because of the mindset that we had going into that week. We knew they were going to throw it, and we knew they were going to throw it often, and we knew that ball, when it was in the air, it was 50-50. And that's a 50-50 ball.
Hmm.
3 things you can do: make the pick, knock it down, make the tackle. That is inexcusable, period. It's hard to do, but it's inexcusable.
Well, we got another play, Matt, right after this. Your second.
Sorry, got
No,
heated. That's supposed to
no,
be a quick play.
no, I know. But look, man, it's almost the identical play, other side of the field. Well, here we are,
Yeah,
second quarter, 10 minutes
yeah,
left, 2nd and
yeah,
8. And they
yeah.
go deep again. Tell me what you see here.
So this is a really interesting defense. You're going to see 3 down linemen and 3 high safeties. So this is unique. What they usually do to this is they usually run a cover 2 to one side of the field, and they run like a cover 3 or a cover 4 to the other. Sometimes they run 3 deep, Josh, but basically it's not your standard too high safety. It's not your standard three deep zone. But I can tell you this, those three deep safeties have freaking deep,
Right.
period. That's it. And Jaden Johnson, yours all day. This is where you make your money. And he was late to go. Now, again, number 11, dude probably runs a 4.3. But you know what? You're 15 yards off the ball and you're the deep safety. I'd like to see our linebackers get involved in the passing game, though. Man, it's
Mm-hmm.
frustrating for a defensive back. I like old school football linebackers. If
Mm-hmm.
anyone got close to a linebacker back
They're
in
gonna
the
chip you,
day,
knock you off your route, man. Mess up your
chip you,
timing, and
mess
you'd be
up your
surprised, guys.
timing.
If you're at home right now, you're watching this play. What you just have to understand is that if you're inside 5 yards and you already just get your head knocked off by a linebacker, the rest of the route is confusing at that point.
Yeah.
You don't know exactly what to do. You're trying to rebound. You're trying to recover. You've already messed up the timing with the quarterback. Just getting physical matters, and it can change a play.
Linebackers, get freaking physical. That first play of the game, play side linebacker, Dix Jr., put your freaking thing on him, man. Let him know you're going to be there all game, too. Hey, dude, you don't like that shit? I'm going to be there all day. What? Yeah, I'm going to be just messing with you. You're going to be, you're whatever. You get real down there. So I'll table that. But you let them know that they're there. It's a mindset. My dad used to tell those guys, you have a decision to come through the middle, and I'm going to take you out. You don't have to come through here. But if you do, just be warned.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to blow you up. Whether you have the ball or not, the rules are a little different then. But even if it's after 5 yards, Josh, I don't care. If the ball's
Right.
not in the air, just hit him. Hit him in the
Mm-hmm.
rib. You want me to just come up and smoke you in the ribs? Like, that's not going to get flagged. I'm telling you right now. If you just throw your arm out right there and just give him a little quick one,
Right.
ask DJ. I bet you some of the best linebackers he ever played with just did that to him all game. And he was just like, stop. It's like basketball. When someone does this to you all
Right.
game, you're like, get out of my face.
Right.
You're in
You
their
can't
head.
like you can't get a play off.
Can't
You
get a
can't get a
playoff.
play off.
Now
Yeah.
I'm in your head.
Right.
It's this very psychological thing. So this play, he could have chipped him a little bit, but that one, the receiver that was going to catch it. But the first play that we went over,
Mm-hmm.
hell yeah, chip that dude and let him
Right.
know that you're going to do it again. Give T. Will credit. He tried to get creative. Um, this was a decent play call for the situation, and
Mm-hmm.
the players did not execute. This was an example, right? Like Robinson on the play before, he should have knocked it down or picked it. But picking it's hard. That's like all-American status. It really
Mm-hmm.
is. Like, so don't think like every deep ball your corners should pick it off. Alabama corners and LSU corners aren't picking off every deep ball,
Right.
but they are going to knock it down the majority of the time.
Mm-hmm.
For sure, they're going to make the tackle. Very rarely do they just let them get beat deep. That's what makes those great teams great. They minimize the big plays. You take them down at the 25-yard line. Hey, you still got to get in the end zone, dude. Good
Right.
luck to you.
Yeah.
You got 2.5 first downs. Let's play football.
Right.
Huge difference. I mean, that's the difference, man, right? Game of inches.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to play number 4, we're going to see a familiar defense here, Josh, and it frustrates me. But again, right? We're sitting here getting smoked. It's 28-10. The game's starting to get a little out of control, and Coach Will is just like, "Hey, what are we going to do here?" So you're going to see 4 down linemen, and we're going to blitz our back. I'm sorry, we're going to blitz one backer in the boundary defensive end.
Right. Well, Matt, I got a question for you here because we kind of talked about this earlier,
Hmm.
I guess before we recorded. But in this situation, you're dropping a guy like Nico back into coverage,
Yeah,
and as we both know, not everybody's built for coverage, right?
yeah, yeah.
Is this a situation where you're thinking, man, if you just kept your linebacker there and not try to get too tricky with the blitz here, send your guys off the edge, let your linebackers play zone here. He's right there to make the pick then, or
Good pick
is
call.
this are we doing too much? Are we asking our guys to do too much or is this
That's a good question.
yeah.
That's a good question. This was a good play call. I have Coach Will's back on this. Think
Okay.
Ohio State Sugar Bowl, Josh. We talked about this. I think we watched that game next to each other. Great night, New Orleans.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good night.
um, we lost that game because of this defense right here.
Mm-hmm.
Different caliber players, sure. They
Mm-hmm.
had a defensive end who popped out and he picked off Mallett's pass. We did a slant route like this because now think about this from your quarterback, right? Like, again, I bring up my dad a lot because that's who taught me how to play football. He used to say he could read the quarterback's mind, and he would like tell the quarterbacks that in the middle of the game just to mess with them, kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a play, Josh, where if you get inside the quarterback's mind, just like you said, well, Matt, what if we had a linebacker out there? Notice where the ball is. It's on the right hash. So this is a boundary call specifically because the defensive end isn't a defensive back. This is a call into the boundary and the blitz. Oh, it was a beautiful, I mean, it's the opposite of a bad call.
Mm-hmm.
This is what coaches get fired for, and they shouldn't. I'm gonna say
Mm-hmm.
that again.
Right.
When I was at Texas Tech, I was like, Coach, do we ever do like favoritism or like do you ever do? He's like, we depend on 18, 19, and 20-year olds to pay our salaries, like our
Right.
livelihoods.
Right.
And when you make a play call like this, you're purposefully showing the quarterback, Josh. You got to understand this.
Mm-hmm.
You want that quarterback to see the boundary linebacker is blitzing.
Right.
Hot route, slant, linebacker's gone. Oh, this is easy. Oh, hey, I forgot to do this. Josh, can you please tell me what the situation is here?
3rd and 3.
3rd and 3. Say it again.
3rd and 3.
Say it
And
one more time.
3rd and 3.
3 yards.
Right.
No. It's 11 personnel. Look where that tight end is. He
Out wide
split
by
out
the numbers,
wide.
man. Yeah.
He
There wasn't
split
that
out
mismatch.
wide.
They sent a running back in motion, clear it all out, make sure they got him over there. So, yeah, it was a perfect play call. I see what you're saying. I
But
see what you're
this
saying.
was our play call.
Right.
T-Will
Right.
knew what he was doing. This
Yeah.
should have been a pick.
Right.
So there's a difference between bad coaching and bad execution. This was an example of a bad executed play. This
Yep.
was the perfect play call. You wanted to show that boundary backer blitzing because
Mm-hmm.
now that quarterback's in his head thinking, oh man, I got these dudes. This is the play
Right.
we wanted. Our tight end's gonna big body that corner out there, and we're gonna
Mm-hmm.
get a first down, nothing to it. And now here we go. The end pops out, and the quarterback goes, oh, he missed it.
Right.
Now I'm not only going to get a first down, I'm going to get about 10 yards of yak. And I'm going to make that safety hurt in the morning because we missed everything.
Mm-hmm.
When you watch championship football teams play, Josh, that's what they do. They force turnovers and they get the momentum back on their side. Because I can promise you this, your offense is sluggish, turnover. Their eyes get wide. I mean, I got goosebumps just thinking about it. You get the ball on the 40-yard line going in at half, and you're the quarterback. Shoot, man, we're at least going to get 3 out of this thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's a mindset. Football is definitely a physical game, but you've got to be anticipating Nico, that slant route. You've got to anticipate that guy with the ball on the outside of his arm, Clark. You've got to get that ball out if you want to beat these teams, right? And
Right.
those are the kind of breaks that we had versus Tennessee. So, it's frustrating to see a play like that when it was a really well played play call, honestly.
It's second quarter. We're only down 18. That's a 3
No
score
question.
ball game.
No
Why
question.
are we playing like we're defeated already, you know?
No question.
Um
They're
I don't know, Matt.
they're
I don't
scared.
know.
They're nervous.
Well, it set them up for a second quarter touchdown right before half.
Exactly.
Take a look at the next play, and I want you to
Yeah.
tell me what the heck went wrong here.
Josh, this is as easy as you see it a lot on Sundays. This is my guy is better than your guy. We're already starting to set records. You're one on one. You don't see any safeties. You got one, two, three, four, five, 6 guys at the line of scrimmage with 2 backers, and guess what the backers do? Hot, 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 baby. So
Mm-hmm.
you know that ball's coming out quick. It's either a slant route or a fade route. If he doesn't go inside right now, you get your ass on your horse, you lock into his hip, and you turn around and go make a play, Josh. So it's like rebounding in basketball. You put your body on the guy and then you go look up.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, it's not hard. It
Right.
is what you've been doing since junior high. It's what you perfected in high school, and it's what they recruited you for in college. The guy's a good player, but that's not a speed route. That's a slant or a fade route,
Mm-hmm.
period. Period. That's it.
Right.
My guy's better than your guy's, what that was. Our momentum was clearly down. The play before, we let them get a first down on 2nd and 12, and they took advantage of their momentum. And again, this is a Lane Kiffin thing. He was like, hey, these guys cannot cover our guy. Our guy is better than yours. It's literally that simple. It's too easy. This is the stuff that frustrates coaches too, but I will say, um, there wasn't anything else you could call defensively because a fade route's going to be a fade route. That's
Mm-hmm.
corner and a wide out all day. But when you're in a zero blitz and you know there's seconds left to go, they're not throwing the ball. They're not rolling it out. They're not doing tight end drag routes.
All right.
We're sending the house as your mindset, what you're anticipating when you're in a zero blitz, zero meaning you have zero safeties or zero inside help, your inside leverage. And if they run a slant route, you are knocking them out and they're going to start calling you by the wrong name. You're going to hit them so hard. If they run outside, you get on them because now you got time. They got to put that ball on it. It's got to be a
Right.
really good throw. And it was a good throw, right? Sometimes even the best coverage, you can't defend a perfect pass. And that's a hard thing for a defensive back to admit.
I mean, these quarterbacks and receivers practice this type of
It was a good
situation
throw.
all the time. You want to see your DBs again get physical because that's going to disrupt the route. Get your hands on them early, and then,
Hmm.
like you said, turn around and make a play on it. You're a receiver too, man.
I
You know the
know. And
ball's in the air. Everybody's a receiver when the ball's in the air.
ironically, that's harder to make than the deep ball, in my opinion. That's a quicker throw. It still has a little arc underneath there, but the back shoulder makes it physically hard to run through that guy. When you're hip to hip with the guy and you're in good phase with him, you're right there in his shoulder hip pocket. You can put your hand up, you can knock it down, you can make a play, but that back shoulder fade's really difficult to cover. But number 11 just makes a better play than he did. Our
Yep.
guy's better than your guy.
Yep.
Period.
So you go into half, you let them score another touchdown.
Yeah.
You're sitting in the locker room. Me and you both know what's going on in there. Everybody's either disappointed. There's a couple
Yeah.
guys, jaw japping at each other,
Yes.
trying to get people's heads on
Yes.
straight. You got one guy over here who's trying to be the leader and tell everybody that we can come back and win this thing.
Yeah.
And for the most part, the morale is down, right?
Yeah, for sure.
You come out third quarter. I think you get the ball and you give it, you punt it, you give it up quick, and here we are, the next play, the beginning of the third quarter,
Yeah.
second 11, could be second and goal, might as well be, but yeah, you're in 11 personnel, and they put it right up the middle. Find, I think, was it Watkins again? But
Yep.
break this down for me because again we keep getting in these situations that I'm looking at it with hope based on what I've seen us do before. And
Yeah.
the play just breaks down and they find a wide open guy in the middle. What happened?
Yeah, so on this one, Josh, it's actually pretty simple. Remember that trio coverage I was talking about, inside, outside, high? You've got this here. Now you just got it with Clark, Metcalf, and Sorey Jr. there, your inside, or I'm sorry, your outside linebacker. Um, Sorey gets too much width. What you're supposed to do in the red zone is basically fall straight back, and it's predicated off of the routes. So you'll see here that these routes, they're not outside breaking routes. I don't want to pick on Sorey, but I've noticed him throughout the season. He's not a very good pass defending linebacker. I don't know if he's being coached that, but he takes his read. It's clearly not a run, and he gets width. Look what he does
Mm-hmm.
compared to Dix. Watch the middle linebacker. Read step,
Right.
pass,
Mm-hmm.
backpedal, backpedal, backpedal. And he almost makes the damn play. Dix Jr. does. Look how
Yep.
close he was to that play. Again, right? This is one of those things where it's like, guys, be easy on the players, be easy on the coaches. You're not in the locker room. I don't know why Sorey felt he was supposed to get width on this because as soon as he recognizes pass, he takes his little read step, 1, 2, and he starts to go backwards, and then he just shoots over to the right.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're looking at the quarterback, Josh, why are you shooting over to the right? You got Clark underneath the fade route, the 7 route, and you got the safety on top. They got 8 bracketed. But the quarterback sitting here staring down number 11. They had
Right.
8 and 11 right here. That's a hard combination. So
Okay. We had the game we had, right? We we
this is an
we got
hour long for a reason.
right.
Imagine those guys what they're getting in film. Oof,
Yeah,
tough.
I know. A lot of people that ask me, they watch this stuff with you, and as we're breaking down film, they're always like, Josh, how do you not know this stuff? I said, man, when you go to college and you're trying to learn, at least all I can, the only guy I ever played for was Bobby Petrino, so I can tell you
Yeah,
his offense. When you're trying to learn Bobby Petrino's offense, I'm just trying to remember my play, right? Just my one route as a wide
right,
receiver. You don't
right.
get this type of, in-depth
Hmm.
understanding, level of breakdown, just understanding just one football defensive play at a time, right? And so for me, I always learn so much when you do these. I appreciate you doing them. I know our fans appreciate it,
Yeah.
but the game was what it was, and
Hmm.
here we are now. We've got a break this weekend, and we're going to be
Yeah.
playing Texas the following week. I was sitting around telling some guys, I was like, I don't know what we're going to get from this Arkansas team, because this is an Arkansas team that can go and beat Tennessee when they're
Yeah.
ranked number 4 in the country, and then we can turn around and lose like this to Ole Miss. We can play Oklahoma State to a tight game. We can play Tennessee or Texas A&M to a tight game. So
Yeah.
we're all over the map with what we bring to the table every Saturday, which makes it really hard to predict.
Yeah.
So I look forward to Oakland. No, I'm just playing. But honestly, seeing what you saw this past week, what do you think? What's got to be the strategy going into this week to get prepared for Texas so that we don't end up like this again?
Got to get your swagger back, man. You got to get your swagger back. You got to remember why you're there. You got to remember that you're a scholarship guy and that you're in the arena. You're the man in the arena, and you're not just competing for fun's sake. We used to have everyone's, we had our schedule up in the weight room. If you remember, our schedule was on those slats, and it was the whole year. And you're looking up there, and you're like, all right, we got Bama, Florida, Georgia, Auburn,
Yeah.
Texas, Ole Miss. Like, is this a real schedule? Is this what we're
Right.
playing this year? Like,
Right.
at the start of the year, you're going to have to check yourself at some point. And this is a gut check. This is where, Josh, you got to reach down and realize that, you're not made to play football like that. You're better than that. And I've seen teams, I've been a part of locker rooms that have lost big games and have come back and played really well. You were a part of that team that we lost in the swamp in Florida in 2009, and it stole our soul, man. Part of my soul is still in Gainesville, Florida.
We got
They
cheated
took
out of that game, but
We got cheated out of the game. They took that game. This was not that game. Your soul is intact. I want to see them play pissed off. I don't want to see dirty play, but I'd love to see some personal fouls.
right.
I'd love to see someone talking bad to someone. I'd love to see our linebackers getting real aggressive.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, I want to see, because it's a mindset, right? Like, I want to see 11 guys around the ball when they're tackled, right? No big plays, minimize the big plays, build a wall, set an edge, and when you get there, show up pissed off. We got embarrassed last week. Matt Harris and Josh Throneberry are sitting here dogging us for an hour. What do they freaking know, right? Like, use that stuff. Like Bobby Boucher, tackling fuel. Like, get your minds right and go play pissed off football.
Yep.
Like, you can compete with anyone in the country. You can compete with anyone in the country. We're having a better year than we thought we were, and now we're kind of getting back into that, like, oh, maybe we're actually going to finish right where we thought. But go steal one from Texas and find out. I've
Yep.
been a part of those teams. They took down Tennessee, right? So, like,
That's right.
have that mindset. Go play pissed off football and remember who you are. Hey, there's only one Razorback. You know what I mean? Like, that's the culture. I know everyone has their own opinion, but when you build a culture like that, Josh, that's when you can come back and shock the world and play good football. I've been a part of 2 different head coaches' locker rooms, and unless you have really good talent, culture beats talent. It really
Yep.
does. I'm telling you.
Well, T minus, I think 11, 12 days until we see what we're going to put on the field next. But, like I said earlier, I think that this is a team that shows a lot. It's all over the board. So I'm going to be there. I'm going to be tuned in watching the game, guys. We appreciate you watching. We want to say thank you to our presenting sponsor, Ortho Arkansas, and our segment sponsor, Commercial Air, for allowing us to do this. Guys, we will be back with you tomorrow and for the remainder of this week putting out content here on 4th and 5. Matt, it's always a pleasure. Thanks so much, and look forward to seeing you next week.